Hello, and I am here, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my thoughts and impressions on Batman vs. Superman. I'm going to go in depth. This will have spoilers, but I'm going to give you my opinion on where I think the DC universe is going to go. Well, I can tell you first, before the movie came out, I thought it was going to be absolute dog shit. Because I'm one of those people that did not like Man of Steel. I thought Man of Steel was stupid. I thought the story was convoluted. I didn't like the way it played out. And I don't like this version of Superman. But I'm also not a Superman fan. So the idea of putting Batman in there, and I'm not going to lie, Ben Affleck as Batman, I thought was bad. I thought it was a bad idea. Oh! There's my cat. She's being a butt-tard. So, let's get back to this. So, Man of Steel I thought was going to be crap, but this new one, I thought, hey, it could be good. I was kind of excited. So, with Ben Affleck as Batman, before I get to the Batman side, you got Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, you have Jason Momoa in there as Aquaman. I don't know the name of the kid that's playing the Flash, or the one that's playing Cyborg. But you have Jeremy Irons as Alfred. So let's talk about these characters. The opening to the movie. You get Batman's origin in the opening credits, which I thought was really good, done really well, and I love the fact that the guy that played the comedian in The Watchmen, he plays Bruce Wayne's dad. And then you got to see... Sorry, my cat's being a tool. Sage. Stop. And you got to really see the fact that Bruce and Superman's mom both share the same name, Martha. And then you get to see the end of Man of Steel being recreated in the beginning of Batman vs. Superman. And you can see it from Bruce Wayne's perspective. And then you get to see what a dick Superman is. He kills hundreds, if not thousands, of innocent people. And Bruce Wayne has to try and console this girl after her mom had just died. And then it goes into 18 months later. So for 2 years, Batman is sitting on this hatred. And then you get to see a lot of people are going to have problems with it. This is not the Batman of Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. It is darker than the Christian Bale Batman. It is darker than the 1989 Batman. It really is reminiscent of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. Batman's been retired. We don't know how long he's been retired, but he's been retired. And he comes out of retirement to go after Superman, because he's an alien and he does not trust him. There's even a scene in the movie, and I love this scene. In a glass case, you have Jason Todd's Robin costume. And it has "ha ha ha, the joke's on you" on the costume, and next to it is Batman's costume. Now, the reason why that Jason Todd costume is really good is because in the comics, Joker beat to death Jason Todd, left him in a building, and blew it up, and Batman could not get there in time, and he found Jason Todd's dead body. So it shows that Batman has some wear and tear on him. Very good. I love the way Batman's set up, and he's painted a little bit like over the top, where the ends justify the means. And there's even like a Mad Max type scene later on, which the red thing going around there was the Flash. And in there you see burnt into the ground the New Gods and Darkseid logos burnt into the sand, which really sets up the New Gods. Let's talk about Superman. Superman Clark Kent. I think Superman was portrayed a little bit better in this movie. Him and Clark really... I could go either way with this Superman. It's just weird having Lois know who she is. They live in an apartment together. And it tries to show Superman as some people care for Superman and some they think he's a threat to the human race. Which I can get that, being a threat to the human race. And he just really... I love some of those proceedings. Some of them are a little over the top. Zack Snyder has a tendency of doing things a little over the top. And then you bring in Wonder Woman, who has very little lines in this movie. And there's a reason for that. Gal Gadot cannot act. If you've seen her in Fast and Furious, you know what I'm talking about. She can't act. They give her very little lines, and some of them, when they come out, are fucking atrocious. She is a horrible Wonder Woman, and I have no idea how she's going to lead her own movie. I really don't. I have no idea how she's going to lead her own movie. I was really worried, and she came through on me being worried. And then you have Lex Luthor. I was surprised as hell. Jesse Eisenberg went old school. Now there's different iterations of Lex Luthor, and he went for the mad scientist route and really went over the top and showed us that you could be comical and crazy at the same time. And I loved it. And I love that he was obsessed with General Zod's body and the Kryptonian ship, and we're introduced to Kryptonite. Very good. You have to introduce Kryptonite. It is Superman's weakness. And then he uses General Zod's body to create an experiment, and through this experiment he will create Doomsday. So I love the way that he's represented Jesse Eisenberg's sequences, where it's him and Lois, or him and Bruce and Clark scene at the party was really cool. I like the scene of him on the rooftop with Clark, where he talks about he's going to burn his mom. He's going to burn his mom if he doesn't fight Batman. Now, a lot of people have problems with that. I don't, and I'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk about Jeremy Irons as Alfred. I love Jeremy Irons playing Alfred because it gives credibility to the role. He was always a good actor, very good, on point, and you needed it there, because in the 1989 Tim Burton movie, you could feel it, like a connection. But with Michael Caine and Christian Bale, it wasn't there. This one, it feels more connected. They're one. They work together. And it was perfect. And one of the things I really liked about this movie, which you did not see in other movies, is the detective side of Batman. Whether it's having the voice analysis chip in his helmet to change his voice, to having Bruce put a decryption code onto Lex Luthor's computer terminals, which is how he gets the metahuman files. But trying to get information about Lex Luthor and where he's doing stuff, because he doesn't trust him. And especially, there's just a lot of good detective stuff he does in the movie, including finding out that he needs kryptonite to take care of Superman, as well as Batman really goes the next step. And there's even a line when he's talking to Clark, and his line is, "It's just the Gotham in me, but we have a bad history of crazy clowns." An obvious reference to the Joker, which I'm pretty sure at some point Jared Leto's Joker and Batman are going to go to war. Maybe in Suicide Squad, since they're both in it, but maybe even in the Batman movie. But let's progress the story a little bit more. So later on, there's going to be, like, Batman figures through visions and whatever. He needs to use kryptonite. He creates a better costume so he can fight Superman. Now, as he's fighting Superman, before he gets there, he realizes what he has to do. And what I thought was going to happen is we were going to have Freddy versus Jason kind of thing, where there'd be no winner. When it's evened out, because Batman has smoke grenades with kryptonite and also makes a kryptonite spear, we have Batman kicking the shit out of Superman. And here's why this is good. Batman is trained in martial arts, ninjutsu, hand-to-hand combat. Superman isn't. Superman is in his beginning stages of doing that. And Batman kicks the shit out of him horribly and almost kills Superman. You get to see an angry Batman in this movie. Now, yes, they come to term because of Dawn of Justice, and they're gonna go fight. They're gonna go fight Doomsday. And Batman goes to save Clark's mom, and he fucks some shit up. It's classic Batman. Batman comes through the ground, throws people here, throws people there. Batman kills people in this movie. Batman kills a lot of people in this movie. Batman goes to town, he whoops some ass, and really, like, he's amazing in this movie. I love the Affleck Batman. But then before he fights Doomsday, he looks at the files. As does Wonder Woman, because he sends Wonder Woman the picture she's been looking for, which Wonder Woman in the 1930s wearing the Wonder Woman costume. But he finds video footage of the Flash saving something in a convenience store, Cyborg being created, which I have to go on record, I think it's fucking hilarious that the dude that creates Cyborg is the guy that creates Skynet in Terminator. Yeah, that's a thumbs up for you right there. And you have footage of Aquaman. Jason Momoa looks pretty cool as Aquaman. Aquaman's one of the dumbest characters, but we'll see. Let me just say on record that instead of Cyborg, I'd rather have Hal Jordan. But we'll get to that in a minute when I talk about what I think, where the DC Universe is going to go. My predictions. So, you go from that to a very cool scene. I love the fight scene. It's epic. It's over the top. It's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman versus Doomsday. And Batman does hold his own with Doomsday in there. He has a kryptonite gun that has kryptonite bullets. But one of the things, see, in the trailer they show Wonder Woman using her shield to block Doomsday's attack. But when Wonder Woman goes like, anybody that knows Wonder Woman, that is how she blocks things. From the comics, that is how she blocks things. And I really love that. I love the fact that Wonder Woman like, helps them. Now, this is a big spoiler, what I'm going to say right here. You have everybody battling out, and Superman knows what he has to do. And anybody that's read Superman comics knows what's going to happen. If you have Doomsday, the ultimate killing machine, which is what Doomsday is, Doomsday with every time he gets hit, because there's a scene where there's Superman and Doomsday are fighting, and they go in the outer space, and they shoot nukes at Doomsday and Superman. Before I talk about that, I should probably talk about the fact there's a scene where Superman goes to the courthouse because they're going to have a whole meeting and try and tell Superman how they think of him, but instead the Capitol gets blown up. And Superman's the only one left standing, and they think it's his fault. So when Doomsday and Superman are fighting in space, you think Superman's face is all radiation poisoning in outer space. Doomsday gets stronger and goes from looking like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cousin to he gets the spikes. I love it with the spikes. And then there's even a point when all three of them are fighting where Wonder Woman cuts off his arm and it grows back, and then he has a fucked up hand like he always did in the comics. Now, Superman grabs a kryptonite spear and stabs Doomsday. But because it's kryptonite, it's hurting Superman. And he continues to shove it in. And shove it in. And he finally shoves it in enough to kill Doomsday. But it kills Superman. Yes, Zack Snyder killed Superman. Zack Snyder kills the Man of Steel. Now, it's a tearjerker. They have two different funerals going on at the same time. One is a fake body, and it's Superman. And they got the memorial and they even got a memorial scene of people lighting candles. It's kind of like, we thank you, Superman, for everything you did to save us. And then you have Batman and Wonder Woman at Clark's funeral talking about how they need to find the others. And that maybe they want to be found. So you go from that to Lex Luthor getting his head shaved, and Batman shows up in his cell. And he shows up in his cell, and he talks about the portals are opening, the darkness is coming, the dark side is coming. Of course, referring to the new gods, Darkseid, Desaad, the whole kit and caboodle, and that's what they're setting up for Justice League. They're setting up for Justice League, and they had to, because they weren't going to do an end credit scene. But at the very end, they're fucking stupid, and what they should have done is not shown this. The dirt starts to move up. The dirt moves up, and that was just not very fucking smart to do. But my review of the movie is Ben Affleck, his acting in the movie and his portrayal of Batman, I'll give him a 9.5 out of 10. Because he was good at Bruce Wayne, he made you really sympathize for the character, he was good at Batman, he did good fighting in there, he had cool gadgets, he really acted like Batman. And I loved his portrayal of Batman. For Lex Luthor, I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10, because there's room for improvement. He could have done a whole lot better. Superman, I'll give him a 7.9. He was better than he was in Man of Steel, and maybe over time he'll become a better Superman. Gal Gadot, I'm going to give you a 5 out of 10. Because you sucked horribly. You were a horrible portrayal of Wonder Woman. You didn't say much, and when you did, half the time it sounded like shit. So as a whole, I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. I liked it. There were some things wrong with the movie. Some acting could have been a little bit better here or there. You could have had like 3 or two fights between Batman and Superman instead of just one big one. But I liked it, and I liked the twist. And stick around for part 2, because part 2 I am going to talk about where I think the DC Universe is going.